Hey, get out! Welcome to Get Fact.
Hello there.
Hello. What a sunny, lovely day.
It is. You should have saved that for ChatGPT News when I go over to you, Stu. You say, what a lovely day.
Well, I'll still do it.
Okay.
But the problem is when this goes out, it might be peeing down tomorrow.
Oh, yeah. Listening. Lovely day, eh? What the hell about it's thunder and lightning?
Who are these two clowns?
Yeah. But we're in an attic, so it's like a sweat box.
It is a bit warm up here.
Yeah, we can't open the window because last time it's in like Amazon rainforest. We can't have a fan on because it's saying like we're in an airport. So we just have to sweat.
So it sounds like we're in a sauna.
Yep. Also, I did. I listened back to Nat's Penis to see what the big fuss was about of why it's everyone's favourite. And it's bonkers.
It's chaos.
It's all three of us just chatting at once and stuff. There's no breathing space.
Does that mean Dan can't come back?
Yeah.
Oh, right.
He's done. No, he's back.
He's back.
When he's back as well, we'll do Nazi Penis 2. The return.
Nazi Penis
4.2.
4.2 inches.
Yeah. I don't think we get away with calling it that though. 4.2 inches.
Well, yeah, Nasty Penis 2 inches.
Yeah. Good do. How are you anyway, Stu?
I'm warm.
Apart from sweating.
I'm warm.
Proper warm. It's like a sauna in here.
It is a bit warm.
And we've got a coffee.
I don't mind it warm though, sometimes. I've got to acclimatise now because I'm away next week, aren't I?
Oh yeah, so you're trying to get your body temperature to the right temperature anyway.
I'm acclimatising, so I appreciate this.
Yeah.
Thanks for doing that for me.
I did it for you.
All right, and you?
I actually asked God to change the weather. But anyway, let's try and not swear on this episode, try and keep it clean, because Sarah Hime, who is our guest today, is actually also a teacher.
Ooh.
So if we keep it clean, she can actually let students listen.
Oh, I've not got an apple.
Saying I don't know how old the students are. They might be like adults, because she might be an acting teacher. I'm going to ask that anyway.
Well, we can always find out and see what she says.
We can indeed. And as I was saying before, we've got our new coffee cups.
Yes.
Get Fat coffee cups.
I think we did take a photo of us.
Yeah, we'll take a picture of us holding the cups.
Put it on website.
Yeah. And then potentially sell them.
Well, yeah.
Bit of merch.
Bit of merch.
No.
Or maybe get some stickers and badges and stuff for winners.
Well, we could get some of them as well, and if you buy a cup, you get a sticker and a badge free or whatever as well with it.
Well, if they win, you can sell it to them.
Yeah.
Well done. Now you got to buy a badge.
Well done. Here's my PayPal. So, what do you know about cults?
Cults.
Yeah.
Cults. I've watched a few bits and pieces on cults.
I've started with let's not swear and then gone on to cults. It's pretty hard to not swear when you talk about cults because...
Be careful how you say it.
Yeah. Because it's full of,
cults.
Sex maniacs.
Well, not all cults are like that.
They're not.
No.
I see, I've got the impression in my head that a cult is basically one man says, I want to sleep with your wife. So, if you want in on the cult, you must bring your wife to me.
That was kind of like how David Koresh did it. David Koresh, who convinced people he was the second coming of Jesus and started the Waco.
Is that what it was?
The Waco fiasco, yeah.
Imagine that. People fall for that as well, don't they?
They do, yeah.
It doesn't get better with like sex either, because female are also doing that. As like a female cult leader that also sleeps with females' husbands and stuff.
Yeah.
Mad. That's all it is. Do you reckon you'd fall for a cult?
No.
What have you said?
Depends if the cult leader was fit.
Yeah. Well, his name's Bob.
Like I said, depends if he was fit.
Yeah. I'm not picky.
Did about the Titanic?
Titanic?
Yeah.
No. What's happened?
Because it's obviously very slowly corroding and disappearing, they've sent the highest resolution cameras down and made a 3D scan of it.
Yeah.
And you can actually go and visit it via your computer.
Well, like a VR almost.
Like a VR thing, yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, I couldn't think of the word.
That's well cool, that.
It's good the way they've done it.
I might not be able to do it because, as we noticed, I can only hold my breath for 30 seconds.
Yeah, you have to hold your breath when you put it on your TV screen.
I'll virtually drown.
Steve, take your VR goggles off.
Come breathe. Breathe for your eye. Have you seen the bodyguards that have them fake arms?
No.
I think they have them for like the king and everything. So they got bodyguards and they've got like, you know, a fake plastic arm.
Oh, yeah.
They've got like a ring on it and everything. You can tell it's fake. And basically what they do is they hold that fake arm, and with the real other arm, they've got a gun. They're holding it. Pointing
Good
outwards.
idea, that.
So if anything happens, they're ready for a shoot.
Wow. Never knew that.
Yeah, it's crazy. Because when you see them, you can just tell it's fake because it's prop along their arm. And it just looks weird.
It's down to the knee.
Yeah. It's different, totally different colour from the skin. Hey, why's he got a black arm?
I know, yeah. Or a white arm.
Yeah.
Not a bad idea, that.
It's a good idea, isn't it? I mean, I don't know how much people are falling for it. Like, I could tell it's fake. Yeah, I've just redone the gym again, Stu. Because
I saw the picture you sent me.
of the gym, yeah.
Yeah. So, what are you charging to join? Or do I get mixed rates?
But the only reason I've done it is I've realised I'm starting to get fat. People say, like at work, oh, you're putting a belly on now. But that's not the only clue. Every time somebody walks past with a takeaway and they ran my dog barks thinking it's coming at the door. So it's like he knows that takeaway's coming to our house. Oh, cheers, Jack. Oh yeah, you know when last week when we talked about having our own zoos.
Oh yeah.
And we was picking animals.
Yeah.
You did have one animal more.
Did I?
You smuggled a tiger in.
No, I counted them up.
No.
It was 5.
Yeah, because when you counted them up and I listened back, you missed a tiger, right?
Did I?
Yeah, because you went for a cheetah. So you had a cheetah and a tiger
When did I say tiger?
at the beginning.
I don't remember
You went
saying.
Elephant,
A rhino,
rhino,
elephant, cheetah.
lion,
Did I
and then you
didn't say
went on
lion,
for
did I?
someone else, and then you went to cheetah, and then you went on someone else. I'm like, how many animals has he got? He's smuggling tigers. No wonder he's got a better zoo.
I don't remember doing that.
Yeah, that's what a smuggler would say.
First rule of smuggling.
Yeah, don't get caught.
Denial.
Don't record you saying it.
or denial.
Yeah.
Well, all I can say is it was a rescue tiger. I rescued it from your zoo.
A rescue tiger.
I rescued it from
What are
your
you trying
zoo.
to say? I'm not with it today because I was on night shift last night, so I'm a bit knackered. I'm not prepared at all.
Not like you.
I know.
It's only me that doesn't come prepared.
No, yeah. See, I've got here Wigginese app, but I've not even downloaded it, and I don't even know if it's a thing anymore.
Wigginese app.
Yeah. I was going to go through a few phrases in Wigginese, and then you had to tell me what it meant in normal English.
Okay.
But the app's no longer there. It used to be on the market.
Could I just put in Google?
I could do, but it used to say it. You know, like you press it and it says, push iron. What's that?
Push iron. Ride a bike.
Yeah. No, so is it a push iron is a bicycle? And then there'll be simple ones like bin men. Has bin men been? Which means, has the dustman been? Or
Has the local waste refuse collection service been to your house?
yeah. See, that's why I need the answers of what it actually means, because I'm from Wigan. To me, I don't know how to explain it otherwise. Like, you know, on the last episode, we did a video recording for the first time.
Yeah.
I watched that back, a bit of it. I was like, Jesus Christ, Ali Gold on that. I've got to the point where I am the age where I could be pronounced a nonce. Do you know what I mean, though?
Thank God I've
Do you know
passed
what
that
I mean?
age.
when you stereotype and you think of a nonce, you don't think like an 18-year-old so far, do you?
No.
You always think like some old, creepy old man.
Yeah.
And I looked at him and I was like, Jesus, I've hit that age. I could be a nonce.
Yeah, but you've not got grey hair like me.
But, yeah. It's a bad way to explain it.
I mean, I'm in my late 40s.
You've gone past it now.
I've gone past that threshold.
Yeah. You're too old to be a nonce.
I'm just a grumpy old man now.
Yeah. Get off my bloody lawn.
I know your face. Go and play around your own end.
Yeah. Talking about stereotypes, so like stereotyping now, what if you was to say like a Karen, what are you seeing? What's a Karen?
Well, I never actually understood what a Karen was.
Yeah.
Until I watched some YouTube videos. And a Karen to me is someone who just likes to kick off about anything minuscule. No matter how small it is, they'll make a big issue out of it.
Yep. But what did he look like to you, a Karen? See, with me,
a large, middle-aged woman.
Yeah. What's the hairstyle?
Long and a bit scraggly.
Yeah, well, for me, it's like almost like a big fringe, almost. Karen.
Or those ones you see with mullets.
Yeah. Us humans, we stereotype a lot, though, don't we? Like MMA fighters. If you see someone with like cauliflower ears, you assume that they're an MMA fighter. They could be a rugby player or anything.
Well, yeah.
So we stereotype a lot.
I suppose there's got to be some way that we categorise things in our own minds.
Identify people.
That's it.
War clans, samurais, Vikings, and Mongolians. Do you know much about them?
Do you know what?
Much about like war clans, like samurais, Vikings, Mongolians.
The Mongolians were very brutal.
Was there?
Apparently.
Which film was about Mongolians? Wasn't Image Matrix in it?
Keanu Reeves. I thought that was a samurai.
Or was it The Last Samurai? Was it?
Or which was the one with Tom Cruise in? About samurai.
Oh, that's the one. Yeah.
Tom Cruise did a samurai one. I think didn't Keanu do a samurai one as well?
I'm sure it's called The Last Samurai.
But I thought that was. Or did they do it together?
Found out now.
I've not watched them, so I wouldn't know.
Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise was The Last Samurai.
What was the?
So what was Keanu Reeves in? Yeah, I'm sure he was in one.
Wasn't he some
47 Ronin?
47. I knew it was something to do with Ronin.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the one.
That was another good film, Ronin. The one with.
What is it? Just called Ronin?
There's another one called Ronin. It's not a samurai one or anything. It's based on
a big actor in that, isn't there?
Yeah, it's a couple of them.
Robert De Niro.
Yeah.
Gene Reno. Gene Reno. He was in that sniper film, wasn't he?
Yeah, Leon.
That girl.
Leon.
Yeah. That was a big film.
That was a great film. That.
It was. I can't remember what it was about, but I just remember it being good.
Yeah, brilliant film. That.
And we're back to movie reviews. Stoovies.
Mm. They should have done a follow up to that.
What? Just
Leon.
Like make something out of it.
Should have done a follow up. It'd be great.
Of what the film or movie reviews?
The film.
Right.
The film Leon. They should have done a follow up to it.
Wondering what you meant then. I might do the news, chat GPT news, and get out of the way and get my tongue working. Because my tongue feels broke because I've not slept much.
I always sound drunk when I'm recording here.
It's that special brew I give you.
And what
special tea.
What you put in it?
You don't want to know. Shall we get a chat GPT news then?
Yeah, let's do it.
A man in India has set a new world record for the most push-ups performed in 1 hour. The man completed a total of 2,682 push-ups in 60 minutes, breaking the previous record of 2,682. So he did the same. A group of researchers in the UK have developed a new type of concrete that can absorb water and self-heal cracks. The concrete is made with a special type of bacteria and can produce limestone, which fills in any cracks that develop in the material. A woman in Australia has been reunited with her pet parrot. After the bird went missing for 2 weeks, the parrot was found by a group of children who spotted it sitting in a tree and managed to coax it down for some food. A man in China has been arrested for smuggling live eels into her country by hiding them in his pants. The man was caught at a border checkpoint when officials noticed his pants appeared to be moving. A new study has found that dogs are capable of detecting malaria in humans by sniffing their socks. The study, which was conducted in Gambia, found that dogs were able to identify 70% of malaria-infected individuals by smelling their foot odour.
Wow.
That's disgusting.
It is.
Poor dogs. So you got some police dogs that are trained to sniff cocaine, and you got some dogs that are sniffing socks. You got the short straw there. Yeah. Over to you, Stu.
It's bloody warm.
It is warm, I'm sweating. I'm melting here. I feel like Jabba the Hutt. I'm just melting in my skin. I've still got some facts I'll reset later, but one of them I don't think should get, so I had to put it down the list a bit further. Where's it gone? Oh yeah, the Spice Girls were originally a band called Touch. See, I don't think you'd know that because obviously she's from Canada.
Right. Well, you never know.
UK based Spice Girls, isn't it? So we'll ask that to Robert Lee. Yeah, excited for that one. To blow my mind. I'm just glad that's not today because already my mind's a bit melted.
I know, yeah.
So
God. It's up. It's Arctic on Tuesday.
Yeah. Is Dan coming on that one?
I don't know.
He said he wanted to come to it, didn't he?
Yeah. I'll ask him.
Yeah. Get him back on for the...
But when's he doing his run?
What?
When's he doing his run?
I don't know. It's in May sometime, isn't it?
I'm sure he said it's tomorrow.
Is it?
And if you listen to this yesterday...
Yeah. Oh, there is it? No, so if it's tomorrow, it'll be today. It runs today.
Oh, is it runs today?
Yeah. Right. Yeah, it runs today if you're listening tomorrow. Oh no, we're stuck in a loop. Your tomorrow is today. Eh? I've got a load of stuff here, but it's like borderline. I don't know how to talk about it on this episode because I wanted to keep it a bit more clean. So,
we should be keeping it clean every episode, Stephen.
We should, but every now and again, I think
you slip up.
I'd like to listen to a bit of. I don't know. I'm going to start making T-shirts. I think, like one saying "Codswallocks" and "Lord of Waffle." I've not seen much from saying that to replace sort of words. I'm going to have like a load of waffles on the picture, and then underneath "Lord of Waffle." Sponsored by Get Fact.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, did you read that guy that entered one of the competitions? You know the radio competitions where it costs £2 or something to enter, and then if they ring, you're supposed to say, "Show me the money,"
yeah,
and then you win.
Yeah.
Well, some guy entered the competition, and then he got a phone call off a number he didn't know. He said, "Show me the money," and then the person on the other side said, "Sorry, it's not the radio competition. It's a job application. Apply for, you start on Monday." How gutted would you be?
Oh, God.
You'd be so gutted to find out you just got a job.
Imagine then you turn up on your first day of work after you've said that.
I know. Show me the money. Get in work. Gutted.
Yeah, you'll see your money when you get paid at the end of the month.
What? I've wrote something here, me. And I don't even know what it means. It was I've wrote this when I just woke up. I've had a dream. You know when we're talking about them dreams you can control and that.
Oh yeah.
But I've had a dream that I controlled, but I forgot about it now. So now what I've wrote down doesn't even make sense. Control dream, dog poo on shoe. Stu was in dream listening to classified James Bond music. What was I thinking? What does that mean?
Classified James Bond music.
What does that mean?
Oh, we could do with a dream interpreter.
Oh, God.
Save that and get a dream interpreter on.
In my head I thought, yeah, I'll remember if I tell Stu about that. I know what it means, but because it's been been a while. I don't even know what it means. I can't remember that dream.
James Bond music.
Classified James Bond. I even wrote that. I ever sleep. I don't even know how it's spelled classified.
Well, what would you class classified James Bond music?
I don't know. Oh.
Got a
That's
playlist? What have you got on your playlist, Stu? Some classified James Bond music. Download it off Amazon. Don't choke, Steve.
Talking about classified music, you know, I was talking about that Nat's Penis episode.
Yeah.
It's the only episode that has struggled to go on YouTube because of copyright. There's so much music on that episode.
I'm not surprised.
We've got a music quiz. We've got that Dr. Jones music for intro for you. We've got Toot Toot ending on. Bloody hell, I need to edit it so that it can go on.
I wonder how much it is to get permission to use music.
A lot. Depends who it is.
The amount that we use, it costs a fortune.
I know. Oh, yeah. Never mind. Did you hear about Philip Schofield being a paedophile?
I thought it was his brother.
Oh, that young lad? I didn't know that. Is it?
I thought it was his brother, that Philip Schofield's brother.
Was it? I'm on about Philip Schofield that was basically known this young teen since he was in school and that, and now he's dating him or something. And there's pictures of him in the school with that kid.
Oh, I don't know about that one.
And
I heard
he's
something
always
about
on
his,
show.
I'm sure, I'm not 100%, but I heard something on the radio about his brother.
Yeah. At what age do you think you get the death grip when you're an old man? Have you ever shaked an old man's hand? Did he break your hand? I don't know what it is. They just like a vice.
How do you mean?
Crush your-
How old?
That's what I'm asking you. It's like, have you got to the point yet where you got super strength hand?
I don't know. I always give a firm handshake. Anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, I'm the opposite. I'm like, good to see you, sir.
You give a little feminine
Yeah,
one.
a little feminine one. And then when they crush me, I'm like, ow.
Oh, I give a manly.
I don't, because I kind of feel like, you know, it's not competition. We're not having an arm wrestle.
I mean, I have shook hands with someone who's femininely shook hands with me, and I felt like, oh my god, I'm crushing his hand.
That'd have been me.
I always give a firm handshake.
Yeah.
That's how what I was.
I think it's because I hesitate. I don't like sweaty hands, so it's kind of oh no, mange. So it's like a little.
No, it's something I've always been told to do. When you shake hands, you give a firm handshake.
Well, it might be because you're a bit older. Then it might be that.
I've always done it.
So maybe if you're even older, like 70s, 80s, maybe they was told, you know, you get your hand and you just crush the other man's hand. That's how you say hello, like a man.
I mean, although I give a firm handshake, I've had shook hands with some men and they've nearly crushed mine.
That's me every time.
Oh my god! And I've tried to squeeze back. We have like a handshake war then.
Yeah, Mr. Shaky Hand Man from Bonsai. Remember that? Just shaking hands for about 10 minutes.
That's my watch telling me to get off my ass.
That's it.
Get off my bottom.
Yeah. Got that. We've got 10 minutes before our guest comes on. We'll leave it at that. And we'll join our guest in a minute. See you in a second.
See you in a click.
Ciao.
Hi.
Hello.
Oh, I can't see you.
Oh, that's weird. Let me try turning it off and turning it back on. How about now?
Nope.
oh,
There you are. There we go.
Oh, perfect. Hello.
Hello.
All right.
How are you guys?
Yeah, good. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks for having me today.
Yeah, brilliant.
Thanks for coming on.
Yep. So we'll introduce you first.
Yeah.
Do you want to introduce Stu?
All the way over from Canada, from the show Pink is In, it's Sarah Hime.
The reason Stu's introducing you is
Because I never get the chance to do it, that's why.
I always get names wrong. So we'll get straight into it. So you're not just an actor, are you? You're a teacher as well.
Yeah, I work a lot with kids in education programs. So I do, I directed musical theater performances with like a youth theater company for several years, and have done other extracurricular arts programs like that. And I'm an acting coach is a lot of what I do now, primarily with young actors, either new actors or like youth and teen actors who are maybe auditioning for theater school, or they're auditioning for an arts program or a show. So both professionally and maybe for more amateur auditions as well. So that's one of the things that I do kind of on the side of acting when I'm not in a gig.
Right.
Yeah.
What age range is that? What you teach?
It's kind of a wide range. When I was directing, I was working with kids that were sort of like 7 or 8, all the way up to 18, because our programs ran, the full gamut from like kids to teens. I find now, as an acting coach, most of the time I'm working with students who are either they're trying to get into an arts high school, so they might be in that like 12 or 13 age as they're trying to audition for a high school program, or older students who maybe are like 16, 17, 18 and are starting to think about doing this as a career, and they're doing auditions and they want some coaching and some help for their auditions. So, but it's great because I've gotten to work with a very wide range of ages, which is really fun.
Have any of your students gone on to be successful?
Yeah, actually, yes. I've had a couple students who were auditioning for arts high school programs that coached with me beforehand and got into the program. So that was like awesome. And then a couple of the students that I've coached more recently for professional auditions for like film and television. I don't know if the last couple booked the role, but one of them had gotten a callback for the role. So that was really exciting. So yeah, it's very fulfilling to be able to pass on some knowledge from my experience, and then for them to be successful. It's really great.
Brilliant.
I noticed there's a keyboard in the background, so are you a bit of a musician as well?
A little bit, yes. I do play the piano. I actually kind of got into acting through doing other arts as a kid, and one of the first things I started doing was piano. So I do play piano. A little bit less well now because I don't practice as consistently as I did back in the day. But I do play piano and I sing. So I always say I'm an actor first. Like that's really my main skill and what I do the most of. But because I do have some, musical abilities too, I get to do musicals every now and again. Or if I need to sing for an audition, I can, play something for myself on the piano and learn a song. And I actually also help coach students. Like I used to direct musicals. So I used to teach a lot of vocals to the kids in the shows that we were doing. So I'd be teaching singing or teaching like the choral pieces and helping them learn them, and sometimes coaching them on singing auditions as well. So
yeah.
Good stuff. Well, quite a bit of an all-rounder, really, aren't you?
Well, thank you. I try. It's helpful in this career to have a few different things to do. You're always trying to find your next gig, your next thing. So.
Yeah.
In any of the shows that you're in, do you get involved in the music side of it as well, with the arrangements, or have you?
Oh, that's a great question. In the work that I've done, film and television wise, actually now that I think about it, no, I'm thinking back. Most of the shows that I've done where there was music, I was just the performer in that show, so I didn't do very much on the arrangement side of it. But actually, when I was directing the musicals that I was directing with the youth company, we put on like some pretty. It's an amazing company called Innovative Arts, and we put on some like pretty full-scale musicals, because they hire all of their staff are professionals, so we're all either professional actors, professional designers, directors, etc. So I used to, when we were putting on those shows, I did quite a lot of work with the music team on those shows, because I was one of I had a co-director, but I was really the person who knew more about the music end. So I would kind of help our music director make those arrangements, and I would try to kind of use my knowledge both as a director and as a musician, but as a performer, like as someone who has had to learn music for a show, and as someone who was trying to teach that music to kids, to kind of help develop a little bit of a new system of how we were going to print the sheet music, and how are we going to indicate things on the page, and what parts do we need to cut because they're too hard, and what parts do we think are perfect for the kids and they'll be able to handle this. So I did kind of have a bit more of a hand, more when I was on the production side. Like when I was a director, I was doing more with the music stuff than when I'm just on set or in a show as a performer, if that makes sense.
Right. Have you done any theatre stuff with Darren Stewart-Jones? Because I believe he does theatre as well.
He does. I've never done anything yet with Darren, but we have something upcoming. Actually, we're taking Pink is In to the stage.
Oh, right.
Oh, really?
Oh,
yeah.
That's new.
We're doing. It's called Pink is In Live,
right.
And we're doing sort of a short show in the Hamilton Fringe Festival. So we're taking it, and it's actually a lot of content that is in the series that we're sort of rearranging. Darren and the team and Kim, our writer from the show, they kind of work together to put it together to be on stage.
Okay.
So I'm very excited because you're right. I know Darren has done a ton of theater, and we met through Pink is In. So this is the first time I've worked with him, but I'm very excited to get to work with him and everybody in a theater capacity now. So it'll be cool.
Oh, brilliant.
So do you know anything about when season 2 and 3 will be available in UK? Because I've just finished season 1, and now I've got no more to watch.
Sort of, you're like, what is happening? So it's kind of funny. So in Canada on Bell, it's actually like mini seasons. So we're on season 3 because Bell has us do these like 4 episode seasons. But what you have in the UK is actually seasons 1 and 2.
Oh, right.
And what's going to happen is, so I hear the episodes that make season 3 in Canada are going to complete your full season 1 on Amazon Prime. And I think, if I hear correctly, I think that these 12 episodes were originally written to be one season.
Right.
And then just based on the way that Bell does their content, they do these shorter seasons instead. So they kind of split it up into 3 small seasons.
Right.
But what you're going to get on Amazon Prime is going to be one full 12 episode season.
So I've watched 2 seasons.
Yes, you have. Which I know is like, every time I'm trying to post or share about it, I'm like, it's season 3 here, but it's season 1 in Prime, but it's the same. It's very, it's kind of funny, but yes. So you've seen 2 seasons.
Yeah.
And I think, from what I've seen, it looks like you're going to get the remaining episodes in June. So not too far off.
Well, sticking with the Pink is In theme, explain your character.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely.
Who is she? Where did she come from?
I play Kitty Cat. And Kitty Cat is sassy and feisty and very interesting. She's in prison, not to do a spoiler alert, but you find out pretty early on in the first season that she is there for murder. She did kill her husband. He made some unfortunate remarks about her fashion choices. It did not end well for him. So that is Kitty Cat. And it's super fun. I love the character. I love the show. So it's been very fun.
I won't say nothing about the top you're wearing then.
Exactly. It's my Pink is In shirt. So don't mess with me and my fashion, or it might end, might not end well for you either.
So the prison that you're in on that, is that a real prison?
This is a great question. It's not a prison.
Right.
It's actually, we film in a studio. It's called Hamilton Film Studios, and it's like this big. I want to say I think it's like an abandoned warehouse, essentially, that then the city of Hamilton turned into this place that you can rent for filming.
Right.
But it happens to have prison cells. I think that it had been used by a previous show, and I can't remember now what it was, but it has 4 or 5 prison cells built in as part of the set there.
Yeah.
So we film everything that happens in the prison. We film at Hamilton Film Studios. So the prison cells are there, but there's also the offices that the warden and the guards use. Yeah. And then also all the kind of other hallways and rooms, the canteen where we have the scenes in the kitchen, like That's all in the Hamilton Film Studio. And the building itself, it's kind of perfect for our prison because it is like falling apart. It is like decrepit in there. Actually, when we filmed the last season, there was a scene where we had to go out a door, and the door we went through actually went into a stairwell. But I don't know what is the deal with that stairwell. I don't think it's ever been cleaned in 30 years because it is like dirt and dust and crumbling cement. And it's like, and I actually got something stuck in my contact lens. We did a scene, we ran out the door, and then I was trying to be quiet because they hadn't called a cut yet, but I had like a rock in my eye or something. So it's a kind of a funny place to shoot for that reason. There's a couple spaces that they use for other like studio spaces and things that are a little bit nicer, but they've left some of the rooms more crumbling, which is perfect because our prison is supposed to be falling apart. So that's a big selling point for us shooting there. But yeah, it's not a real prison.
Right.
So it gives you more of an authentic atmosphere when you're filming the episodes. It
does. It really does, because I think so much of what we talk about is about the problems facing the prison. We have no money. And then there's all those scenes, like even in this, I do this big rant close to the beginning of season 2 in the second episode about how the prison is falling apart and how terrible it is. And it's not a lie. I'm describing the real atmosphere there. So it definitely helps.
Yeah. So when you applied for Kitty Cat, did you apply for any other roles in Pink Is In?
No.
Or just the one?
Good question. I actually just Kitty Cat. What happened actually is that Lisa Crawford, who is the creator of the show, who also plays Nesrenko on the show.
Yeah.
I had worked with her several years ago. She produced and directed a short film called Death Game. It was like a short horror thriller genre short film. Yeah. And I had auditioned for her and booked a role in that. So I'd worked with her I think it was 2018. And it was a great experience. Lisa is awesome. And it was a super fun shoot. And so then a couple years later, Lisa and I were connected on Facebook, and I saw her post online about having a show that had been greenlit by Bell. And so I sort of took a leap and I was like, this sounds very cool. And Lisa is the nicest person and has such a vision for the projects that she's working on. Yeah. Like, she is awesome. So I was like, I would love to work with Lisa again. So I just went out on a limb and I sent her a message on Facebook and said, I saw that you had this project greenlit by Bell. That's really cool. I wonder if you're still auditioning for the show. Like, I'd love to audition if you have any roles open. And she got back to me right away and was like, yep, why don't I, she called me and then we talked a little bit about the project. And she was like, why don't I connect you with Darren, who is our casting director. And then she said, Darren had actually seen you in Death Game when he came to see the show a couple of years ago. And he mentioned that he liked your work in Death Game. And I was like, cool. Right. Oh my gosh, great. This might work out. And hopefully he liked my work. And so then Darren, sure enough, got in touch with me a couple of days later and said, here's the material for Kitty Cat. Do you want to send in a self-tape? So I actually self-taped the very first scene where we see Kitty Cat explaining how she murdered her husband and why she ended up in prison. That's the scene I shot for my audition. I did a self-tape, submitted it, and then a few weeks later I heard that I got the role. So yeah, Kitty Cat's the only role that I auditioned for. It was the one that they had sent me to audition for and send a self-tape. So, and the rest is history.
Brilliant.
How long does it normally take you to do a self-tape? Because I've done a self-tape myself and it takes forever. No, it's not good enough, delete, try again.
It's so true. It kind of depends, I guess, a little bit on what type of audition it is. I find that if it's something where there's like Pink Is In, where I was auditioning with a scene where I had lines to learn and it was a little bit more intensive that way. Yeah. That takes a little bit longer because you've got lines to learn and you're trying to develop a character and whatnot. Yeah. And so that might take longer. If it's something for like a commercial where maybe you don't even have any lines, you're just reacting to something. And so you just have to get a take of you reacting. That's a little quicker, but it honestly kind of depends on when it's due. I find that that sort of determines how long it's going to take for me to get it done, because I've got a deadline.
Right.
So, for the last show that I auditioned for, that was a TV series, that took me about just under a week to prepare for, because I got it on like a Tuesday, but it wasn't due until the next Monday. And it was 4 scenes. I had to learn 4 scenes and film them. And that took a long time because
Right.
they were long scenes too. And there was 4 of them, and it was so many lines. And so I kind of broke it up. Like each day I would learn a new scene and try to really, learn the lines, but get a sense of the character and what am I trying to do in the scene, and like what am I doing overall. And then I would learn one and then film it at night when my husband came home and he could read the lines for me for the other character. And then that one it was because it was complicated, I saw my acting coach for some help too. So I worked on the next 3 scenes over a couple of days, and then I went and saw my acting coach on a Saturday morning. She helped me film them all, and we got the other 3 scenes filmed in about an hour. So once I was really prepared, I find if I've got some time to really prepare and really I'm really confident in what I'm doing in the scene and the choices that I'm making, then when I go to film it, I can kind of bang them out quickly because I've made my choices, and then I just have to capture it. So that kind of took maybe 5 days overall to get those 4 scenes done and submitted. But the last time I had a commercial audition last week, I learned it, filmed it, and sent it in within an hour because that's all the time I had. I was working, I had a meeting in the morning and a meeting in the afternoon that I couldn't move. So I made some notes, and then I was like, okay, I've got an hour to get this done. Let's go. And kind of figured it out. But I know what you mean. I find that you can really get into a trap. You want it to be perfect.
Yeah.
So you start
so that you
filming.
get the job.
Yeah.
And you're like, you want the job.
Yeah.
So you start filming, and you're like, oh, that wasn't perfect. Okay, I'm going to delete that one. I'm going to do another one. And then next thing you know, you've done like 30 takes.
Yeah.
And it's like so exhausting. So I've been trying to do a bit more of what I said, trying to really, really prepare before I start filming anything.
Right.
And then once I start filming, try to do as few takes as possible. And then it's easier on you because you only have to watch yourself. You can maybe you've got 3 takes to watch, and you're like, great, this is the one, and you're done, versus having to watch yourself do 30 different takes.
Yeah.
And you're like, they're all the same. I'm terrible. I look weird. Your brain goes to all these places. So I don't know. Do you feel like that when you look, but you watch your self tapes back and there's too many takes, and then you're
definitely.
just like,
Definitely. There's little things, it's like what am I doing with my eyes in that one and stuff like that.
Exactly. It's the small things. You're like, why did I look over there? Why did I move my arm like that? That's so weird.
Yeah.
Well, it was just, you did kind of just answer the question then. When you're doing those little short videos, does someone read with you?
Yeah. So most of the time, yes. It's really good. It's really important to have someone read the other characters' lines, because so much of acting is reacting to, right? So, and a big part of what the casting directors are looking for when they watch your audition isn't just how do you say the lines. It's also what do you do in between the lines.
Yeah.
How do you react to what the other person said, or what are the thoughts that you're thinking as the character? So, I always have somebody read the other lines. And it's often, as I said, it's often my husband because we can film at night or whatever. And if I need to do another take, I'm not concerned about, if it was somebody. Sometimes people will have other friends or other actors do it, but I always find that makes me feel a little pressured because I don't want to take too much of their time. So then I rush myself a bit. But my husband is very patient, and he's actually a very good reader, which is very convenient for me. He's like he just lives here. So it's easy to, like, come on, I need you to do a scene.
I take it he's not an actor himself.
He's not, no. So that's the only thing, is that sometimes if it's especially something like a comedy where you need to have a little bit of comic timing with the other person, that's when sometimes I go to my acting coach or I go to another actor to help, because they have a bit more, they just have more training around what is in a comedy. How does the timing and the banter
Yeah.
work. So
Yeah,
sometimes I'll get help from someone, especially I find my acting coach is great because then she can also kind of guide me on the scene or give me some suggestions as well and kind of help me continue to learn. But I have to be honest, this week I cheated, and it was for a commercial audition, and there was a line that was supposed to be said before I said my lines, but my husband was at work, and I only had this hour to shoot it. So finding someone else who was going to be available at that exact time that I could FaceTime it was going to be tough. So I recorded myself on my phone saying the other line. And then I played the recording and timed it so that I could just play off of my own voice saying the other character. So I don't recommend it, and I don't do that very often. And I would never do it for an actual scene, but for a commercial tape, when it was something very simple, I kind of found a workaround there.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say, how do you learn your lines on scripts? What's your
secret?
Yeah.
That's a great question. I find that honestly, repetition, saying it over and over again. And usually what I do is let's say I'm looking at a scene, I'll start with one line. I'll repeat that line a million times. I'll try saying it in different ways too. So sometimes I'll say it with no emotion, then I'll say it with the emotion of the scene, and then maybe I'll sing it, and then I'll do it with a funny voice or something, just to kind of not only learn the lines, but know that I can say them in different ways without it throwing me off. Because of course, as soon as you start adding the emotion of a scene, sometimes the lines go at your head. So I kind of like to do that. And then once I feel like I've nailed that line, I'll go to the next line, do the same thing with that, but then I'll go back to the first line again and then repeat them in a row. Yeah. And then I'll do the third line. And once I feel like I've got that, I'll go the first line, second line, third line, and just keep going back to the top and reading them through in a row so that you keep going back to the ones you've already learned.
Okay.
And I find I have this app on my phone now where you can record your lines and the other person's lines and play it back.
Right.
And so I've been using that a lot too recently, to record the other person's lines so that I can practice mine and then hear theirs and then practice my next line, responding. Just so that I also get familiar a little bit with what is driving my lines. Like, what did the other person
what's
say? And exactly. And so it's not because I want to, of course, once you go into a scene, you want to be a little bit in the moment, and you're trying to create the effect that you're hearing this other person speak for the very first time. But for me, it's helpful. And once I go into the scene, I can forget what the other person's going to say and just try to live in the moment of the scene. But as I learn my lines, it is helpful for me to know, when does the other person's line end? So when do I come in? Like, what's my cue? What did they say? Because sometimes hearing also what the other person says, I'll have been running these lines for 3 days, and on the third day, I'll hear what the other person said in my recording as I practice and go, oh, that is why I'm so mad, because when he says this, that word, it brings up a little bit. It will spark some ideas. So that's kind of my process.
Yeah, it's kind of similar to what I was doing, but less professional, because I was kind of winging it. It was like last year when I started to try and act. It was like a midlife crisis almost. I'm 32 now. And I thought, you know what? I like drama in school. I'm going to start acting. And I applied for a few movies, and then I got a few scripts, and then I'd record myself doing my script, and then record myself also doing their script, and then I'd be listening to the whole thing while I'm going for a walk, so I get used to what they're saying so that I knew when to come in. And I was kind of just winging it, because I've never done acting before.
You're like trying
from
to
what you said, it seems like I was on the right course.
I was going to say, for your first kind of go at it, you nailed it. It's perfect. And it's actually really smart of you to listen to it while you're going on a walk too, because something I always tell my students as well is that if you learn your lines sitting down, because that's kind of a lot of people's first instinct is to sit down with the script. Yeah. But what sort of happens is that if you learn your lines in like a sedentary position, when you get up and you start adding in the emotion, you start adding in blocking and walking around and doing all of the things you've got to do, your lines kind of go out of your head. So exactly, there's all kinds of distractions and all kinds of other things you're thinking about. But if you can learn your lines and kind of get it in your body, like you move around, you've walked while you've said them, you've done the dishes, you've acted it out with emotions, like you're more likely to actually remember those lines once you're on set or on stage and you actually have all those other distractions coming at you. So again, you hit the nail on the head. You just go out, learn while you're moving around, or I like to pace around my room.
So what kind of job would you like to do? Is it action, comedy, horror, or all of the above?
Well, I will say all of the above, because I love it all, and I like to have variety. Like, something I like about this career is that you're always kind of doing something different. But if I had to pick one thing that was my favorite, I love comedy.
Yeah.
It's so much fun. I love making people laugh. Like, there is no better feeling than being on stage or being on set and doing something, and you're in a scene and it makes people laugh. Is like the best feeling. And it's so much fun. Like, you get to just do wild, wacky stuff in comedy. That's like super, it's fun to shoot it, and it's fun to rehearse it as well. So if I had to pick one, comedy was my favorite, but I will take anything.
Steve, like to be a Viking, wouldn't you?
Yeah, love it.
I feel like you've got like a good beard.
Yeah, the beard for it. Does he shave me hair off a bit?
Yeah, exactly. That would be cool. I think it would be very fun to do any show like that, like Vikings, or even like medieval stuff, or fantasy, or anything with action. I think would be so much fun. Or like Marvel. I would love to do a Marvel movie where you kind of get to do comedy and drama and action and fighting, like everything in one. It'd be fun.
Have you done any historical acting, whether it be on stage or film?
Oh yeah, yes, I did quite a bit of Shakespeare when I was both in theater school and out of school. One of the first things I did was actually like a workshop production of Romeo and Juliet. I did the Comedy of Errors in school, and even in high school I was in a bunch of Shakespeare stuff too. So I actually really love doing Shakespeare, and have auditioned actually for we have a Stratford Festival here, is one of our biggest theater companies, and they do Shakespeare every year, and I got to audition for them last year and do a Shakespeare monologue. So that's the most historical kind of work that I've gotten to do. I obviously love the contemporary things, but I do have a spot in my heart for Shakespeare. I really enjoy the challenge of the language and how technical and verbose the language is, but then like finding that challenge of, okay, yes, there's all this poetry in the language, but how do I make it accessible to an audience watching it now? How do I say this line and make it seem like I came up with it in the moment? It's the first time I've ever said this, and make it clear so that the audience member can understand it. Like, one of the most fun projects I ever did was the Comedy of Errors, which is a comedy that is Shakespeare. It's a super funny show. And it was so much fun because it's just a funny show in general, but then we kind of got to do a bit of an interpretation with it and go, okay, this is a joke. What can we do with this joke to make it funny to a modern audience who might not be familiar with the play? Yeah. And kind of find a way to keep the Shakespearean text, what it is, but find a way to make it a little more contemporary in the way you speak it, I guess. So I really enjoy that.
Right.
I've never understood myself all that. For art thou thee.
Oh.
Yeah.
I've never understood. And so when you're learning stuff, do you get taught how to understand it and what it means, or just say it?
That's the thing. It's so true. There's so much of the language, both the way they say things like that with the for, thou, all these pronouns that we don't use anymore. So what does that mean? And words that we don't use. So yes, you actually do get a lot of training I got it when I was in theater school, but which is kind of what we colloquially call taking acting in university. I always kind of say theater school, and I'm like, I don't know if everyone knows what I mean by that. But we did do classes in Shakespeare where you got to learn how do you analyze a Shakespearean text. So what's cool is, first of all, if you have, like, I have the complete works of Shakespeare from when I was in school, in 4 books, like the tragedies, the comedies, the histories, etc. And what's pretty cool is that in most Shakespeare books, first of all, it will translate words for you. So if it's words or phrases that we don't use anymore, there'll be translations. So I am big on that. And actually, you can Google it too. There's like Shakespeare dictionaries online. So when I take a look at a Shakespeare text, like one of the first things I'll do is that I'll go through it and I'll find the words that I just don't know what they mean. And I'll look, if there's not a translation in the book, I'll look it up online and like kind of figure that out. Then there's all kinds of stuff you can do as well, like Shakespeare's in iambic pentameter, right? So it's that da-da, 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 da-da rhythm.
Yeah.
And so you do a lot of work around what is the rhythm. And some of, this is getting very technical, but some of the, you're like falling asleep. Some of the words are unstressed and some of them are stressed. Like if you have that ba-bum, ba-bum, like some of the words naturally get more of an emphasis.
Yeah.
So you might go through and go, okay, which words are the stressed words? Because Shakespeare did that intentionally. Those are the words that are the most important in the line. Yeah. So you might circle those and go, okay, the word love in this line is one of the stressed syllables. So I am going to emphasize love rather than the word before it, which maybe would be I or something like that. So that it just little cues like that in the script help you make a bit more sense of it because it's so wordy.
Yeah.
If you can pinpoint, okay, based on the rhythm of the poetry, what are the important words? Okay, and now I've looked up the words that I don't know what they mean. I understand those. I've figured out what words should be emphasized. And then there's even some really cool stuff in the text where most of the time it falls into that rhythm where it's like 5 da-das, right? 5 little pairs of beats. But sometimes there's 13 and sometimes there's 12 and sometimes there's 9. And often if you look at those passages in the text that are too long or too short, it's some moment where the character is like having an emotional revelation or they're like struggling with something or there's like some emotional reason in the text why it's not following the pattern. It's something is out of order. And so there's little cues like that too that you can use in your performance. You can go, okay, this line has too many beats. It's almost like they've got too much to say. They've got too much running through their head. Okay, that might give me a little bit of an indication of how I can say this or what I can do with it in the performance. So I find things like that, like they really taught us a lot about that in school. And those are kind of the techniques that I use to try to better understand what is happening here in this monologue or what am I saying here? And then I just try to find ways that as an actor, okay, so basically what they're saying is this. So sometimes I'll try to translate it. Like, how would I say that now as Sarah in modern language? And then I kind of try to take the way that I say it in modern day and sort of bring that to the way I say it in the Shakespeare text so that, you know, I always find that if I go and see a Shakespeare show, I don't necessarily understand every word, but you know it's a good show when even if you don't understand every word, you understand what they meant or the gist, right? Because the intention of the actor is so clear that maybe you didn't know what wherefore meant, but the way they say it, you know what they meant, you know? So that's what I try to do when I'm analyzing Shakespeare and performing it. I do my best.
I mean, I don't know if it's ever been done, but I think it'd be cool to do, I don't know, The Tempest or Romeo and Juliet or whatever, and bring the language of it up to date to modern how we speak now, and to see what the difference would be.
It would be really cool. I feel like, I'm trying to think of something I've seen where they've done that. I know that they've made like sometimes they'll do like Romeo and Juliet.
All right, Romeo and Juliet.
Done, they have like a modern movie version and whatnot, but a lot of the other plays, other than that one, you don't get to see that sort of modern interpretation as much, which would be it would be really cool.
So would that be considered its own language?
Well, it's old English, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's classed as Old English.
Right.
Yeah, so exactly. And actually, it's kind of cool. Sometimes you're reading a play and like a Shakespeare play, and there's words in there that we actually do use or expressions, but they're like Shakespeare invented that expression and we still say it, but that's the first time it was ever used, which is kind of cool. But it feels like another language sometimes when they get a bunch of words in a row where you're like, I don't know anything that you're saying in this sentence. Can we cut this one? No? Okay.
So you being a teacher, what would your take be on films with nudity and stuff like that? Because
interesting.
Yeah, because let's say Merv will come to you and say, we've got a big part for you, but there's a nude scene. With you being a teacher, it's kind of hard, isn't it, to accept a big job like that?
Yeah, that's really interesting. So I find I kind of have like two takes on that. One is that in my acting work,
right,
I don't tend to worry too much about the content of my acting work, worrying about students seeing it, because they know I'm a professional actor.
Right.
And so hopefully their parents are helping them pick what they're allowed to watch. And so hopefully they know, like even Pink is In, right? Pink is In has some content that's a little bit mature in some of the jokes that are made and whatnot. And so, but I don't worry about that too much, because again, they know I'm a professional actor. Hopefully they're only watching stuff that is appropriate for them to be watching. So if there's swearing or there's, mature content, like hopefully their parents didn't let them watch that. They can watch it when they're older. So I don't let my teaching work affect really what I choose to do in my acting work. I'm more cautious about what I do, like personally, in the stuff that I post about. I don't put swearing in my posts that I make as Sarah, but I don't worry about that so much in my acting work. Now, me as Sarah choosing what I do in my acting work, I still have some, things that I don't like to do in terms of nudity. I have never been yet in a situation where I had to make a choice about that. I kind of have talked to my agent about it and been like, completely full nudity is just a no. Regardless. But I would potentially be open to talking about it. Yeah. Depending on the role. I think what makes a big difference for me is like, how necessary is it to the plot? Because sometimes I watch shows and something that really bothers me is when there's a lot of nudity, particularly of women, that is gratuitous. Like it's not necessary. And that always makes me feel a little uneasy, especially if the only people in the show that are nude are the women and it's always the women. Like I start to have some feelings about that. So I think it would just depend on the project and what type of nudity and for how long and is it needed for the plot, or is there a way to work around it? Like, and is there going to be an intimacy coordinator? Like nowadays we have intimacy coordinators who are so brilliant and who are on set and on stage to help choreograph these things, they have all these like amazing modesty garments that you can wear so that you're not really naked, but it looks like, if I knew that there was a qualified intimacy coordinator on set who was going to help make sure this was a safe thing to do, that would be a big green flag for me in a project, where if they were like, no, we're just going to wing it, I'd be like, I don't think we're going to be doing that. So it kind of in that regard, it kind of depends on the situation.
Because I've seen a movie lately it was this female that was in a shower, but it was only the back of her that you seen her. So that's not too bad, but that's also classed as nudity. So
it's true. That's the thing, right? Like it can mean a lot of different things. So if it was something like that, that's different than being like, you need to be completely naked. It's true. It kind of, and this is why it's great to have an agent. It's great that the industry is changing so much to be mindful of these things, that intimacy coordinators now are a role on set. And so then you can kind of negotiate these things. And I've got people who can help me decide, do we want to go ahead with this? Or do we want to say, Sarah's not going to do this, but she'll do this. Does that work for you? And then it goes in the contract, and there's like kind of protection around that.
Right.
So how would you feel then? Because I know it's happened in the past, is they turn around and say, all right, we'll give you an extra so many dollars to do what we're asking you to do.
Yeah, it's true. You do hear about stuff like that happening. I think it kind of depends on the situation. Like if it was a situation that I was not feeling very safe in, or it felt this is gratuitous, or it's too much, or I'm not feeling like they're respecting my boundaries, like, and I can't understand why. And they were like, we'll give you more money. Like the money is not going to sway me to do something that is uncomfortable.
Yeah.
If it was a situation where I was already feeling like, yeah, I'm okay with this within certain parameters and whatnot. Again, I don't think the money would be what would sway me to do it. It would be more around, we'll pay a little bit more so that we can have an extra intimacy coordinator who can help you with the boundaries you've set, and we can work around that. Like it's more those kinds of things that would be like, yeah, okay, you know what, you've convinced me, I'm good with that. But if it was just pure money, and it was something that I was not feeling good about,
like basic instinct 3.
So have you ever been in a kiss scene with another man, and if so, how does your husband feel about it?
Yes, that's so funny. I have actually. Now that I think about it, all the scenes I've done with kisses have been before I was married.
Right.
So he was not around. I did do a play when we were together where I had a boyfriend in the show, but we were breaking up. So it was like kind of intimate, but we actually never kissed in the show.
Right.
So I'm just thinking about that. But my husband is very supportive of my career and very, really gets it, you know, like he really understands that what I'm doing is scripted and choreographed and not
So it's
real.
not classed as cheating then?
Yeah, no. Exactly.
See, if my partner was kissing on a set, I'd be like, I'd want her to be a bad actor.
Yeah.
So that I know she's acting.
It's so true. He actually asked me the other day, because I think we were watching a show together, and I said something like, the chemistry between these two actors is like really, really good. And he actually asked me, he said, does that mean that their chemistry in real life is good? Like, or is that something that you can fake?
That's what I go through my mind.
Right? Like he was kind of asking me, like he was kidding, because again, he's not he's not a very he's such a lovely person. He's not a very overly jealous person either. It's just not, he's very secure. So he's just, it's not like he's like really worried, but he did kind of say, is that something that you can fake? Or like, if I watch something that you're in one day and you and the guy have really good chemistry, like, is it real? Like he was kind of asking me. I was like, oh no, so you can fake it. Like it can be real. Like actors get together all the time. It can be, but you can fake it. That stuff. First of all, if you're doing any sort of kissing, any sort of physical intimacy, like it is choreographed within an inch of its life.
Yeah.
You know what direction you're facing when, and how you're kissing them, and which way are your eyes going, and when are you breathing, like all of that stuff it's like choreography, like dancing, right? Like it's so choreographed. And chemistry wise, like we get, like in class, we work on like, how do you develop chemistry with someone that like maybe you hate them, like, but you still have to develop chemistry with that person. And there's tricks to doing that. Like you find something about the person that you really do like and think is attractive, and you focus on that, and then you kind of build that chemistry and into the fake relationship, but it's not real. So we did have a little chat about that.
You don't really think about that when you're watching it on film or television, about that behind the scenes. There has been some choreography done, because there's some shows out there that are really near the knuckle when it comes to intimacy, and you think, how do their partners deal with this? But then you don't realize that there has been choreography behind it for weeks,
Totally. It's so true. They're so good at making it look like it's not choreographed, but little do you know, they've got a big beach ball in between their bodies so that they're not actually touching. They do things like that. So you're like, it kind of, if you know that, it kind of takes you out of the romance of the scene. But it's true. It's really it's really choreographed. Like the one time that in a stage play, it was actually the Comedy of Errors, and my love interest in this in the play, we had this whole moment where we had to like fall in love and then run and kiss each other, and it was so choreographed because we were timing out, okay, on what line are you going to start running? And then how hard do you need to run? Because the first time we ran, we kind of like smashed. And so we were like, okay, you can't run that fast. We kind of have to run and then stop. Okay, and then whose arm is going to go where? And what, so it, even in stage, like you nail these things down to a set choreography, and then you execute it.
So other than theatre, have you got any movies or series coming up?
No, actually, it's been kind of a period of auditioning at the moment, actually,
Right.
and hopefully more Pink is in to come. I know that they're kind of working on that, and we've got some good. Seems like we're getting maybe some good news from the U.S. distributor, so I'm hoping that maybe we'll get to do that again soon. But yeah, it's mostly been auditioning this year so far, and actually, it's been a bit of a slow start to the year for everybody because, first of all, the Writers Guild in Hollywood is on strike, which.
Yes. Again,
does actually kind of trickle back into our industry in Canada as well. And we've noticed that because there was potential for this strike for months, everything is kind of slowed down. And I think a lot of actors right now have been feeling like barely auditioning for anything. Like, what is going on? But we're all in the same boat. And so I don't know exactly what that's all about, but it's been kind of a slow start to the year. And then we're also in a union dispute over commercials too, that we in Canada, that's been going on for over a year. The ad agencies were trying to cut the wages on our agreement, and our union actor was basically like, this is unacceptable. We're not going to sign this deal. And they were like, fine, we'll just only make non-union commercials and we'll lock all of the union actors out. So union actors, we haven't been able to audition for most commercials in over a year, which has been like such a tough hit financially for all of us and for the industry. So it's just been a tough couple months, honestly. Like, as actors, we're just like, there's no commercials, there's no film and TV. Like, what is going on? I've had a few good commercial auditions in the last couple of weeks, which is why I've been super busy. So that I'm like so grateful, because I'm like, I don't know what's going to happen here.
Yeah. So what type of TV commercials have you done yourself?
Okay, I've done a few. The most recent one that I did was for Nature's Heart granola bars. And this is the one, it actually aired all over Canada. And so this is the commercial I did that I had the most people texting me, being like, I just saw you on TV.
And do you like granola bars?
She can't answer that. She'd have to kill you.
Yeah, exactly. I'm contractually obligated.
You got a box full of them around the back of there, haven't you?
Yeah, they're all over there. Yeah. Yeah, that was the most recent one that I did. That was a really fun one. And then I also did one that was for monster.com, like the job hunting site.
Oh, I thought it was energy drink.
Oh yeah, different Monster. Yeah, the Monster, that's the job search website. Right. And that one aired in Europe, I think. And I never saw it here, but I know that it aired, and I think it had aired in Europe. And then I did one for Holiday Inn, the hotels before that. So yeah, a couple of, and that one was also on some channel. So again, I remember being teaching, I was at the studio, and one of my students, the student who I didn't know very well either, like she was from a different group, and she just comes up with her phone and she goes, "Is this you?" It was like a screen capture of my face in that commercial zoomed in. And I was like, yeah, that is me. Did you saw that commercial on TV? She was like, yeah. And then she like walked away. I was like, okay. Glad that people are seeing it. Awesome.
Yeah. So when you're on set, Pink is in, for example.
Yeah.
Do you get to improvise or ad lib as you're recording? And there's a second part to this question, because me and Steve discussed something here.
Oh, got it. Okay. So I'll answer part one. Sometimes yes. It kind of depends on the scene, right? Yep. Like sometimes the way the scene is scripted, it's really important that it's as written, maybe for timing, or there's information that needs to be given that needs to come out a certain way. Like, I think truthfully, it also probably depends on the show that you're on, like how tight they are about the script that's written and how much they are okay. Like the writers and the team is okay with improv and how much they aren't. Pink is in, it kind of depends. Like sometimes we are just really sticking to what's written, especially for that comic timing. But actually I have a couple of examples of times we did do some improv. And one of them is upcoming in the season the episodes that you don't have yet that you'll be seeing in June.
Okay.
And you wouldn't know it was improv based on the way that it was cut together. But the team had decided, you know what, it actually might be helpful if we had a scene where we talk about a couple pieces of information that will help things make sense later. And I can't quite remember what made them decide to do that, but we did do a little bit of improv on the day. They were like, great, we're just going to take the 5 of you who are in the scene. We'll go into another room for a second. These are the pieces of information that we want to add to the scene. Do a little improv to figure out what that would look like. And then we kind of improv together. Okay. Came up with a rough idea, and then we went on set and we filmed it, still improving, but within some parameters.
Yeah.
And then that scene made the final cut. So you wouldn't know it was improv, but there was a little bit of improv done there to kind of figure that out. But yeah, what's the second part of your question?
The second part is
well,
because we discussed it last time, because we found out that you're the third actor from Pinky's In to join our show. We thought maybe you could throw in, if you're doing a season 4, get fact.
Yes, that's so funny. Okay, I'm gonna keep that in mind. I'm gonna see if I can work that in. You know? Yeah. Well, it's the kind of thing that we would say in the show too. Like, because it's sort of this 80, it's got that like 80s British humor. Yeah. So sometimes the jokes do feel, I don't know, it feels like that it would fit that. Yeah. Like that kind of joke would fit, you know? So I'm going to see what I can do. I can text Kim, the writer. I'll see if we can work that in there.
Yeah.
We were saying, because you're the third actor on as well from Pinky's In, this is technically Pinky's In season 3.
Yeah, exactly. Right here, happening right now. Yeah.
Well, you'll have to get us on.
Pardon?
You'll have to get us on.
Exactly.
As background.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. You should totally. I will. We've had that happen before, where we have people who are connected with the show in some way, or like family or friends who have come and done background. Like Josie, who plays Juice in the show. She had her mom be a background in one of the episodes that you're gonna get in June, where it's like a big scene with like lots of big crowd, and her mom was one of the extras. So I don't know, we might be able to make it happen. You guys can come to Canada.
Brilliant, yeah. We're doing a lot of promotion here for you with these podcasts.
We'll just be walking around on set with Get Fat Cups.
Yeah, exactly. You're just like holding it in the background. Product placement.
Yeah.
Or we could do that. We could send a couple of cups over, and they could be drinking from them in set.
You know, there's also some stuff in the show that are like sponsored things like that.
Product placement.
I can't remember. There was like a drink that they were drinking in the first season.
The beer.
A lot. The beer, yeah.
Yeah.
And it was always the same brand. Yeah. And I think that they sponsored us.
Right.
And they put I don't know, if you send some mugs, we could probably get them in there.
You weren't sponsored by whipped cream as well, are you?
Pardon?
You weren't sponsored by whipped cream as well, are you? Because on Pinky's In, he keeps having whipped cream.
The whipped cream, it's so true. I don't think the whipped cream is a sponsor, but it probably could be at this point. It's true, we use the whipped cream a lot. Yeah. That's so true.
There's also a scene where I think it's raining in the cell. It's not raining, but have they done that? Is it the sprinklers?
Right. Okay, so that was actually really cool. There was it was not sprinklers. They made it look like it was sprinklers, but of course we don't have like control over that kind of stuff in the building to be able to really. And once you get wet, it's very challenging to shoot anything else.
Yeah.
So what we did that day was actually we shot the scene, like we did the wide shot and the close-ups and everything with no rain at all. And we just pretended that there was rain. And then the director sort of cued us to when the rain was going to start, because of course we don't have it raining on us to know, now it's raining. So we would shoot it, and then he would kind of call out in the background, which they would cut out, being like, okay, it starts raining. And then we would just act like we'd gotten wet and kind of run away. But then there's one part that actually, I should say, so then they edited in some rain that gets on all of us. But then there is one part that actually was real water. And so just Ruby is the only,
Yeah, with the umbrella.
only person with the umbrella. They actually did rig up something that like poured some water down so that we could get that one shot with actual water falling on the umbrella. But we shot that very last so that if Darren got wet or anything else got wet, we didn't have to like wait for everyone to dry off and then retry to shoot all the scenes from before. So that was kind of the last thing we did. So it was sort of a combination of real water and fake water.
Yeah, I was going to say, because the mics that you have on you, I'm sure they're not waterproof, are they? Oh.
No, they're not. It's true. So that's another thing, is you're kind of trying to time out. Of course, Darren is speaking in that scene, so he needs to be mic'd. So I think, if I remember correctly, they also got that line of Ruby saying that line while mic'd, got to take with that clear audio. Then they can, I don't know if I can't remember now because there was an umbrella, if they still removed the mic. They probably did. But then they can remove it and shoot without it because they actually already have a recording with the clear audio, and then they can, in their editing magic, use the proper audio and without risking the technology. Because it's true, that's the other risk with water. There's a lot of equipment. Tech.
Yeah. I don't know if it's the same in TV studios as it is in films when they film on set, but do you have to go back and re-record any voice that didn't get picked up properly in the show?
Yeah. Actually, I had to do that this time.
Okay.
They call it ADR, so you go back and re-record something that maybe didn't get. It could be for various reasons. Like sometimes it's because whatever they recorded the first time, there was some sort of sound interference, and for some reason they didn't get a clean audio of that one line, so they'll have you come back and record it so that they can edit that in. What happened to me this season was we have the first episode of season 3 is actually a Christmas episode. And there's a part in one scene where I come into the scene singing a little like Christmas song and then start talking. And no one had told me what song to sing. Like it just said in the script, sing a Christmas song. And then no one on set like said anything about it. And so I just like picked something that was kind of easy to sing a line of and have it be recognizable and then like jump in. And I can't remember now what I sang originally, but I came to shoot the rest of the episodes of the season, and Darren comes up to me and says, well, we're going to need you to do some additional like audio because the song you sang is copyrighted and we can't put it on the show. And he was like, I'm so sorry. I should have told you what songs were allowed before, but it was a crazy day on set. We were shooting so many things back to back. We just missed it. And I was like, I probably should have asked before I just started singing a song. So basically what they did was they have this in the scene, they had a shot of me entering that was at quite a distance. So you couldn't quite see the way my lips were moving. You could just tell I was singing, but you couldn't see. So we shot a bunch of stuff for the other episodes that day. And then I stayed a little bit late. And they brought me into kind of a quiet room and they gave me an approved song that was it didn't have copyright, so I could sing it without a problem. Yeah. And we basically measured like how long was I singing that other song, like how many seconds was it, and then we kind of timed it, and I recorded the same length of chunk of song of this other song, and then they took that audio and put it in the scene. And you can't tell because I'm at such a distance, but now I'm singing a song that is copyright free. That was kind of my first experience of having to be brought back to do ADR for something. And I was like, oh man, I really messed up singing this copyrighted song, and now I've got to come back. And
well, you don't think of Christmas songs being copyrighted, do you? Because you sing them all the time anyway when you listen to the radio and stuff, so you don't really think of it like that.
Totally. I think that's the thing. It's probably why no one really thought of it in the moment on such a busy day, because a lot of Christmas songs are also super old, right? And sometimes if it's been published for 100 years or something, there is no copyright, like it goes into the public domain or something. So there's a lot of Christmas music. People cover it all the time. You sing it in church, you sing it on the street, so I think we weren't thinking about it until they sat down to actually start editing this, and they're coming up with the music for the show. Our music person is editing everything in, and they're going, oh, yeah, we can't sing that.
So have you done any voiceovers for anything? Any radio, anything like that?
Cartoons?
Yeah.
Good question. I have not. I don't do a ton of voiceover. I do audition for it, and so I'm trying to get better. It's like, it's not something I've ever really done very much of. So I've taken like a class to try to learn a little bit more about it. And my agent sends me a fair number of voiceover auditions, and I feel like I've improved a lot. Like now that I'm sending them in, I'm like, okay, I feel like I have a little bit of a better sense of what I'm doing. So hopefully I'll book one of those soon. It's like, would be another great kind of thing to do, but I haven't yet done voiceover, but I did before the pandemic audition for a podcast. It was going to be a radio play, essentially, split into a series over the length of a podcast. And it was sort of like a fantasy podcast series. Yeah. And I auditioned. I did actually get a role on that. And it would have been my first voiceover gig. And it was for a character, like a kind of crazy, swashbuckling, like piratey kind of character. It was like a really cool character. And it was the first time I'd really auditioned for and booked like a character for a voiceover job. Yeah. But then when the pandemic hit, the project got put on hold because we couldn't be in person, we couldn't meet and whatnot. And then I don't know what's happening with it now. Like, I haven't heard anything from the creators for quite a while. So I think maybe the project has just been like shelved for the moment. But so as you asked me that, I'm like, technically I did book one job, but I never did the job. So does that count?
So, you know, when you don't get the job, how does that affect you? Do you just shrug it off and just go for the next one, or? Yeah,
for me, I take rejection pretty well. Like, most of the time, I am pretty good at being like, okay, well, that wasn't it. Go on to the next thing. Especially if you're lucky enough for it to be a time where you're auditioning for quite a few things, it's easier to kind of be like, okay, well, I've got another one due tomorrow, so I'll just worry, you kind of just move on. And most of the time I am pretty good at doing that. Like, I do have a feeling that the things that are right for me are going to work out. So if this one didn't work out, it wasn't for me for some reason. And, there'll be another opportunity. And I've had that happen where maybe one thing didn't work out, but then I got to do something else that turned out to be better for me or whatnot. But sometimes if it's something that I've auditioned for that I am like, I really wanted it, it hits me a little bit harder. Like I had one, I auditioned for a play in, I guess February. And I had auditioned for the play. It was a self-tape. And then I actually got a call back. And so I got to come back in person in like a smaller group because they had liked my audition. I got to come back again. And I did like a really good callback. Like, sometimes you just know that you nailed it. And I knew I nailed it. And I thought I really had a shot at it. And it would have been like, it's a play that I've loved for a long time. Yeah. And what was the worst was not only did I not get, like, they never responded.
Yeah, they never do that.
You just never hear. It's the worst. So, like, I think a full month went by. And I'm going, could I still have a shot, or like, have they cast? And then finally about a month later they actually emailed and were like, we've gone in another direction. And I was like, that one, it took me a couple of days to recover from that one. I was like, it hurt my heart because not only did I love the play, but they'd called me back. Like I was even closer to getting it, I was like, I was in the running. So that one hurt. So it kind of depends a little bit on, I would say overall, most of the time I'm pretty capable of being like, okay, like on to the next thing. But sometimes there's those ones that just like, it's really hard. And I think honestly, that's what I'm trying to learn now, is that sometimes you just need to like feel that and be like, oh, that hurt, that one. And you just need to take a couple of days to like be sad about it. Yeah. And then you'll bounce back, But if you sometimes it's better to just like, let the feelings hit you and sort of, just process it and be like, that sucked. I was close to that one. I did a good audition. I didn't get it. And this is a bad feeling. This is hard. And then kind of just be kind to yourself for a couple of days and then be like, okay, time to get back in the saddle here and stop feeling sorry for myself and, move on to the next thing.
Because I actually did a self-tape in December where I got the interview and everything, and then they said they'll be recording in May if you get it. We're in May now, I've still got a chance.
Yeah, you're like, well, I haven't heard a no. So
it's not the end of May yet.
Yeah. The not hearing is so terrible. I feel like I would much rather just be told no. No, I can just roll with that. I'm like, great.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, sure.
I didn't get it, moving on. But when you just don't hear,
Well, you're left in limbo, aren't you?
Yeah, you're in limbo, and you can't help but feel like it might be a yes. So you are hopeful. You can't stop still being hopeful. Like you're saying, you're like, it's May. I don't know yet. You know, it's gonna happen.
No news is good news, as they say.
That's the thing, right?
So, dead or alive, who would be the ultimate actor or actress you'd love to work with?
Ooh.
I'll let you have two.
I would. Dead or alive. I would love to work with Emma Thompson.
Yeah.
I think she's amazing, and she's amazing in everything that she's in. Whether
she's very adaptable.
Very adaptable, and I just think she'd be someone you could learn so much from. You know, like has had such an incredibly long career in theater and film, right? And it does both well. And there's something about her that's so like, she can just be so like direct and and strong and like to the point. But then you see her in like Sense and Sensibility and like a period piece, and she's like this love interest. It's just like she can do it all. So yeah, she would probably be my top choice.
Didn't she recently do a nude film?
Yes.
Yeah, she did.
Yeah, she did.
So was she hired a escort, or was it?
Yeah. Yes. It was something Leo Grand. I think
Yeah.
it was called. And yes,
it's a good
it
film.
was about her hiring an escort to like learn, try to like have some sort of experience. Like, and he was a lot younger than her.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't seen it, but you're right. I forgot about that coming out. I need to go see that.
See, I seen that nude scene and I was like, you go, girl. Body positivity.
Yes. So true. Like, it's so nice to see. You're right. Like, to see these. It's nice to see things where, like, older women, putting quotes around that, women are, like, getting to do these excellent, like, complex, interesting roles.
Yeah.
And they're still, they're not just becoming, like, the old grandmother, like, interesting things like this film. Because I think for so long, one of the challenges for women in film and television is it's like you hit a certain age and, like, no one cares about you anymore. It's like you're 40 and everyone's like, oh, they're old, and you're like, I am only 40. I have all this life to live and all this like great acting ability, but there's not always roles, good roles, I should say, written for women who are like older than 30. So it's just, I feel that too. Anytime I see women like her doing like cool, empowering work like that, I'm like, yes, thank you. Like,
I mean, quite a few of them have done that in the careers, haven't they? Later on in the careers, you got Helen Mirren. She's probably one of the most famous for doing that.
Totally.
Jodie Foster did it.
Yep.
In Nell. And there's another one, I can't remember the name. She was in Twister. And she did it as well. What's her name?
I can't remember.
Anyway, she did it. That actress.
She also did it. That one. It's so true. There's like a few women who are kind of like paving the way in that kind of work. Yeah.
Right.
So does that mean in about 30 or 40 years' time we can expect to see you? Empowering women.
Empowering women. Let's hope. Like, I want to act for a long time. Like, I want to be, people will say, like, people talk about retirement a lot, right? Like, people will be like, oh, I'm just counting down until I retire. Like, a lot of people feel that, but I would love to be, like, I think about one of like our Canadian icons, Christopher Plummer, who is, internationally like a star, but Canadian represent. Like, he was performing. He was still in his 80s, right? Like and he was incredible. So I would love to have that kind of career where I'm like, I am 80 and I'm still going strong. And if it's what you love, I don't really foresee myself finding a time where I don't want to do it. You just want to be making so much money that you can, afford to take a break and go on vacation and then come back and do whatever project you want, whenever you want.
Yeah. That'll happen soon with our podcast, won't it?
It will, yeah.
At the minute, we're at minus.
Yeah.
Yeah, any second now.
Costing a fortune. Well, are you ready to play Fact or Reset?
I am. Yes, I've been preparing
Here
for
we go.
this moment.
No one has been able to beat
I know.
Darren Stewart Jones.
That was very impressive, and he didn't even hesitate. Like when he was answering, he was like, it was like he knew the answer. It was like, that was very impressive.
So this is all on you.
Yeah.
No pressure.
To go on.
Okay, and Trish is second on the leaderboard. Okay,
Yeah.
Yep.
I feel I'm just gonna try to. My goal is to just maybe make 4. Like if I can just beat Trish, I can text her later and say I beat you.
Let's get the jingle up.
Stand clear.
It's fact or reset. So the aim of the game is I say a fact. If you think it's a fact, you say fact. If you think I've made it up, you just say reset. And you keep going until you're on the board. So if you get the first one wrong, you still go.
Oh, I get to go. Okay, I'm not worried about that.
So you guaranteed to be on the board with 1 point at least. Right, so we start. A shark has a blowhole like a whale.
Reset.
Yep, reset, you're on the board.
You're on the board. Here we go. And we're off.
There we go. Yeah.
The longest recorded flight of a chicken is 13 seconds.
Fact.
Yep, you're on to So guaranteed
Yes,
third place so far.
Okay, I can work with that.
The toenail of your little toe is called the spungle.
Oh. So random.
Oh, that's Spungle.
Yeah.
Bungle.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow,
well
here we go. Oh, ooh.
Oh, okay.
That's 3.
Yeah, that's right.
That's 3. Whew, okay.
The real name for a hashtag is an octothorpe.
Ooh, a hashtag. I'm gonna say fact.
Yeah, well done.
4.
Second place.
Going for Darren here.
Okay, here we go.
An ostrich's eye is bigger than its brain.
Fact.
Yeah, well done.
Oh.
Join first.
Oh my gosh, I did not. think
This
he was
one
going
to
so
beat
well.
Darren. A turtle can change its shell.
Reset.
Reset, well done. On top of the board.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
Flies got their name from a man who discovered them in Italy called Salvador Fly.
Reset.
Yeah,
Oh, here we go.
so that's 7.
That's 6.
It's 7, wasn't it?
1, 2,
I
3,
think-
4, 5, 7. Sorry, my
7,
fault.
yeah.
Yes, 7.
A group of frogs is called an army.
Huh. Fact.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
A group of rhinos is called a crash.
Ooh. I'm gonna say reset.
No.
No.
That's the end of that.
That's true.
But you broke the record there.
you smashed the top spot there.
Yeah.
What was that? How many was that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8? 8?
8.
Wow.
Yeah. I don't even think I've got that number.
Right, you have to get on to Darren now and text him.
Yeah.
Loser.
I'm a winner.
Yeah.
I cannot believe that. I was nervous. I was like, I feel like I don't know a lot of facts. So it's gonna be a lot of guesswork.
Yeah.
So I didn't know how well that was gonna go.
That was brilliant.
Well done.
I've got a lot of moving around to do now.
Oh yeah, you're gonna have to,
I have to move every one of them.
you need to get one of those things that they have that's like where you slide the
Yeah.
Yeah.
in and out.
There's magnets. Might be easier.
Yeah. Yes, magnets, exactly.
Right. Have you got any more questions before?
I haven't, no.
No.
I'm all done.
I'm all done myself. I've got some questions wrote down, but I don't know if I've asked them already.
Those were good questions that you asked. Like, there was some good ones there. Some stuff
I
that.
tell you what, I would like, if possible, because Trish did it for me. I would like, if possible, a digitally signed picture.
Oh yeah, yes. I heard you guys doing that in an episode. Yes, I can. I will figure. I don't have like Pink is in little posters like she had printed, but I can figure something out.
And we will happily return the favour.
Yeah. Please do. Actually, can I take a picture of us like?
Of course you
On
can.
the, I wanted to commemorate the the moment. I might make a TikTok.
Hang on a sec. Get the mug.
Oh yeah, hold your mugs. Okay, it's a little. My camera quality isn't great. It's a little. Right, so hold it up a little bit. Nice. That's perfect. Oh wait, hold on. I was recording. I recorded so I took a picture. Wait. Oh, hold up. Oh, that's great. Perfect. Okay. Nailed it.
Perfect.
I was going to say, you guys, I've been listening to the couple episodes where you spoke with Darren and with Trish, and you both, I really enjoyed listening to the podcast. You have a very nice way of bantering between the two of you, and
Thank
you
you.
both have really great laughs. So I've been listening, and I'll be doing the dishes or something. I find myself kind of smiling and laughing along with you because you're very natural. So it feels like I'm in the room with you as well.
Yeah.
It's very fun. So I really like what you're doing with the podcast.
Well,
Thank you very
I have
much.
a tendency to laugh at my own jokes, and I don't know if that's annoying. So that's again.
You know what it isn't. It's so fun. It's fun to hear other people have fun.
Yeah.
So sometimes even when you watch TV or things like that, when you can tell that people were really genuinely enjoying what they were doing, it is very it's very fun as the listener. So no, it's not annoying. It's fun. It's nice.
Well, they used to have signs, didn't they? That you say laugh, and then it go, just so you knew when to laugh.
We'll have to start doing that with our guests. When they're on the camera, they would just
Hold
hold
the
their thing up.
billboard.
Right, laugh now.
Exactly. Or applause.
Okay, brilliant.
Yeah, it's been great.
And don't forget to get that plug when you do plug in.
Yeah.
In fact,
I'm gonna work on that. Don't worry.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you.
well, it's
so
been
much.
great chatting with you. Thank you very
Great.
much.
It's been
You
brilliant.
too. Have a good one.
Thank you.
Bye
You
now.
too. Bye. Oh, what a laugh that
Well, that was another successful one. I enjoyed
Definitely.
that.
Brilliant, that.
Getting a bit warm now, though, isn't it?
I felt like I was gonna faint me.
I think I'll have to have a toilet
I was
break.
getting all dizzy. Jesus, it's hot in here. My eyeballs are sweating.
I need a toilet break and busting.
Yeah, toilet break. We're back in a minute.
See you in a click.
See ya. And we're back from the toilet break. I'm still hot, and I cannot wait to get a bit of fresh air.
Oh, God.
It's so hot.
Jeez.
I have to sleep in this tonight.
Yeah, but you can open your windows, though.
Yeah, that's true, and fan. Need aircon. It's expensive for aircon, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Proper expensive.
I know.
So what old wives' tales did you ever believe as a kid? Like, eat your carrots so you can see in the dark.
Well, yeah, that was one of the big ones, wasn't it? I know me missus always goes on about one that her mum used to say, stop picking your spots or spiders will grow in and lay eggs.
What? That's harsh.
And I think that's where she got her fear of spiders from.
Yeah. There was one in there, I can't remember what it was, but it puts hers on your chest. I can't remember what it was though.
I think it's
I've got an hairy chest, so yeah, a lot of it. Whatever it was.
I don't know.
Have you heard that saying?
I obviously didn't eat any of it.
Yeah.
Didn't put hers on my face either.
Well, I heard someone on the radio say about the kid. She told the kid that when you lie, your eyes change colour. So now when a kid lies, she shuts her eyes. So it makes it even easier to know. The innocence. Oh.
I can't think of any.
There was loads though, wasn't there?
There was loads.
Can't find any, so let's move on from that. Old wives' tales. Anyway, so I was listening to an old Ricky Gervais stand-up, and you know I was on about spiders the other day, and you're saying like your kids have a phobia of them, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Well, apparently, if you stroke a spider, they go bald.
Right.
So if you see a couple of Phil Mitchells walking around, you know that's some crazy person's been stroking spiders.
No way.
That's crazy. He
I know
worked that out. He's just that
I
out.
have no idea. Why did he think these things up as well?
I don't know.
I mean, I know there's a lot of senses around pregnancies as well.
Yeah.
Like I've just found some here that if you carry more weight out, more of the baby out front,
Yeah.
it's a girl, and if the weight you carried more within you,
Yeah, I've heard that
a
one.
boy. Or dark nipples means it's a boy or something like that. I mean,
Yeah, they used to have a little dangly chain as well that you put over Bella.
Yeah.
And if it lands, it starts swinging that way, it's a boy.
Yeah.
It starts swinging, yeah. Such little weird tricks.
it's easy. Just go to the hospital and get a scan.
Yeah, I'm seeing it's a boy. But no, it's all about the gender reveal parties. No one wants to know that. No, at the hospital, did it?
No.
It's like, pop this balloon and find out what it
Who
is.
popped the balloon?
I've seen one where the kid slices the thing and the balloon flies off, so they never find out.
I
Instead of
think there's
popping
one
it.
as well where the balloon popped and it was a boy, and I think the girls just started crying and went off
Got
sulking.
it.
I wanted a girl.
Oh, this one I need to tell you about neighbourhood pettiness. Have you got any of that? Neighbourhood pettiness.
I think I'm getting a bit petty because I'm become a grumpy old man.
Yeah. Well,
There's a guy down our road with a motorbike and just revs it for no apparent reason.
Oh, we've got one of them across the road, a big Harley Davidson, about 6 in the morning.
And then he walks around his motorbike,
Yeah.
and then he looks up to see if anybody's looking at him, looking at his bike.
Look what I've got.
And then he then gives a couple of blips on his accelerator.
Yeah.
Then he'll walk down the road, squat down to look at his bike, whatever he's looking at. And then get on his bike, a couple of more blips on the accelerator, has a look around to see if anybody's watching him, and then drives off.
Right.
And then he reverses the process on the way back in. He pulls up, gets off, checks if everyone's looking, walks halfway down the road, crouches down to look at his bike for whatever he's looking at.
Yeah.
Oh,
I love me motorbike.
just me being petty. I hate him.
So neighbourhood pettiness is real.
It is.
Email in if you've got any neighbourhood pettiness as well. But I'll tell you my tale and then we'll give you the email for it. So my tale is 2 days. Oh, so I don't know if I should say 2 doors down, but she's got. If you know where I live, you're gonna know who it is. Well, she's got this big dog, and she just lets it out up front, to poo.
Yeah.
And it keeps going into our garden, just pooing in front garden.
Oh, God.
And I got sick of it, so like I scraped it up with pan and proper flung it straight back into her own garden. It's like, woo! Imagine if she stepped out the door at the right time.
Oh, that'd be ace.
What the hell is a big bird?
Launch it. Has she got a car?
No, she's not got a car,
Oh, I
no.
was going to say, launch it at a car.
Well, oh yeah, the email. In case you've got any neighbourhood pettiness you want to email in.
Yeah.
If you've got any neighbours that, doing your heading and you want to email about them, you don't have to. Well, just tell us if you want us to say your name or not, so it could be anonymous that you've got an annoying neighbour. Email in at contact@getfact.co. That's contact@getfact.co. And the website to listen to the podcast and to subscribe or follow us is www.getfact.co. And that's all we've got, really.
Yeah.
You got anything else you want to say before we clear up?
Nothing.
Nothing. We've got Don't Be Stupid, but I can't bother today. We'll save that for our listeners. If anyone wants to play that, email in.
Yep.
And we'll get you on for a game of Don't Be Stupid.
And I was going to have a brilliant time with that one with you.
Why? Oh, have you got one set up with me?
I had one set up.
We'll save it for next time.
We'll save it for
next time.
No, we'll
it's a long
save it
episode.
either next time or we'll save it for the listener.
Yeah, yeah, ooh, yeah.
Ooh.
Set the listener up instead. All right. Anyway, we're gonna get off. It's too hot and I need some air.
Oh.
See you later.
Thanks for listening.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.